I tested over 60 gaming mice in the last 5 months, cheap clones, big brand flagships, weird $400 fingertip mice, and most of them with my own money. And the lesson was simple. People don't waste money because the mouse is bad, they waste it on 4 traps. And in this video we're gonna break down all 4. So by the end you'll know if you're wasting money and exactly where. Starting with the most expensive one. And the first trap is the premium tax. Now this shows up when you pay big money for a mouse, but the price is mostly about the material, the rarity, the niche shape, or just the feeling of owning it. Now the mouse of course can still be good. Question is whether the extra money buys something you actually use or just something you appreciate. And the best example here is the Finalmouse. It's around like $200 depending on which drop you actually catch, and to be clear I didn't buy this one for the flex. I bought it because I wanted to see what people are actually paying for. And why does this mouse cost $200? What's the hype really about? Now a couple years ago the ULX felt way ahead of the market. It was ultra light, 8K wireless, carbon composite shell, a bunch of stuff like that. But today other brands are doing ultra light 8K carbon and magnesium stuff too, so the gap doesn't feel as crazy anymore. Plus Finalmouse has a mixed quality control record. Some people like myself get perfect units and love them, some get creak, flex, scroll issues, wobbles, stuff they have to fix themselves. So I'm not saying the ULX or Finalmouse in general is bad, I'm saying at this price with the market now I need more than it just like its Finalmouse. And this is also why something like the Attack Shark Air 5 Ultra annoys me so much in a good way. It's like $70, same weight class, and in real games it gets super close enough that the $200 mouse suddenly has to explain itself. Now a similar brand here could be the Pwnage Stormbreaker. Now it's around $170, and to be fair the Stormbreaker has really good stuff going on. 3395 sensor, adjustable sensor position, 8K polling rate, and I'm not pretending it's fake. But at $170 it feels like old flagship pricing in a market where a lot of like $60 to $100 mice already give me most of what I care about in game. Now when this kind of mouse first showed up it was competing with the Finalmouse, and paying that much back then made more sense. For example, for my copy I remember I paid like $180. Now today the market caught up, the price kinda didn't. And of course I'm not immune to any of this either. For example, I own the Zaunkoenig M3K. It's $400, 24 grams, carbon shell, hand assembled, poor fingertip mice, wired at 8K. And this is honestly my second favorite mouse on the whole pile. I bought it because I wanted to see how extreme this category could get. For me it works, but for most people it's insane. Now the bottom line on this strap, if you're paying for the feeling, the drop, the material, the design, that can be a fair reason. Just don't tell yourself that you're paying this much because you will have like better aim if you get like a Finalmouse. Which brings me to the second trap, which is called the brand tax. And this one is like the simplest. With Logitech, Razer, SteelSeries, that level, all the big legacy brands, you're always paying a little extra for the name on the box. Sometimes that's warranty, sometimes a feature that actually works, sometimes just the comfort of buying a brand that you already know about. Take for example the Razer Viper V4 Pro at $159. Honestly this one earns it in my opinion. Frame sync is one of the new features that I actually kinda liked. Battery life is the best I've ever had on a gaming mouse, and the rest is just improvements over the V3 Pro across the board. And after these many miles, nothing on it annoying me, it's genuinely just like a feature for me. So here is an example where the brand tax pays you back. But also take the Logitech G Pro X2 Superstrike at $180. Same brand tax tier, different value case. Now the Hits click tech is probably the most interesting click system I've tested on a mouse. Clicks are mega fast, hand fatigue is genuinely lower, my copy was solid also when it comes to QC. But after like 2 or 3 months the 61 grams started bothering me, especially going back and forth with lighter mice. And the more I tuned the actuation for daily use, the closer it got to feeling like just like a normal super light or just like a normal mouse in general. So the tech works, yeah, it's super cool, it's great, it's new and stuff like that, but I'm just not sure that $180 plus the weight is the right choice for most people. So that's the brand tax. For me, brand money has to buy less headache, warranty, support, better firmware, actual new tech, something basically. If all it buys is like a similar logo, that's where people get burned. Then there's the third trap, the upsell tax. And this is when the cheap version looks like the smart buy, but the better version is so close in price that you probably bought the wrong version. Now this happens all the time, especially if you see like models with SE, Pro, Ultra, Max, Pro Max, dongle included, dongle not included, 1K version, 4K version, 8K compatible, but only if you buy a separate dongle, a bunch of shit like that. And the annoying part is that reviews and Reddit posts usually talk about the best version, while the link you click might be just for the cheap one. And I did the exact thing with the VXE R1. Now I bought the R1 SE locally for around like $40, then paid 20 more for the R1 Pro. Then the retailers didn't include the 4K dongle with the Pro, and also didn't sell the dongle separately, and then I had to buy the R1 Pro Ultra which had the dongle. Just like an amazing experience trying to buy stuff locally. Yes, you could always buy it from their website directly if you want to wait a bit and avoid all the problems that I had, but yeah. Now the cheap version version isn't always bad, don't get me wrong. Sometimes it's just close enough to the better version that saving like $20 makes no sense, especially if the cheaper version cut the thing you actually wanted. Which brings me to the last trap, the trust tax. Now this one doesn't hit you at checkout, it hits you weeks later when the mouse starts acting weird or just breaks, and you have like nowhere to go. The example here for me is the CRDRAKO KO1. Now mine was sent for free to test, but the unit that I got spun on my glass pad in real games, then the dongle died after like 2 months. Now I only tested one unit, so I'm not calling it like a failure rate study on the whole brand, but for me personally that's enough. And when something like that happens, the price of the mouse is honestly the small part. There's troubleshooting on the weekend instead of playing it, trying to find out why it's not working after you paid $180, and good luck trying to get a hold of the support, especially in the weekends. And to be clear though, this isn't like a clone problem. I said it earlier, I'm a big fan of those brands overall. This is a support problem. With smaller names, without a clear warranty path, you factor in the chance of paying twice for the same mouse, which is also part of why a brand like Razer or Logitech can be worth the extra money. At least there's like a real retail and warranty path if something breaks. So after all of that, what does a clean purchase actually look like? Not necessarily my absolute favorite mouse, just a mouse where the money makes sense and I don't feel like I got tricked. Now if I want a safe premium pick, it's still the Viper V4 Pro, not because it's magical, but because it gives me the less things to complain about. If you want the clean wired option, the OP1 8K makes a lot of sense, shape locks in, clicks feel really good, and if you want to buy it locally, you can find it crazy cheap for like $35 to $40 sometimes. Mostly because it's still a niche brand and not a lot of people know about it. They always go for Logitech or Razer and they just ignore the stuff that is actually better. Now if you want ultra light without overdoing it, Pulsar X to CrazyLight is the one that made sub 40 grams actually feel worth it to me. And if you want value, Attack Shock R5 Ultra is still the mouse that makes a $200 Finalmouse explain itself. Now before you buy another mouse, just ask 4 things. Number 1, am I buying performance or am I buying the feeling that this mouse is special? Number 2, if it's a big brand mouse, can I name what the extra money actually gets me? Number 3, am I buying the right version or did the cheaper one cut the thing I actually wanted? Number 4, if it breaks, do I have a real way out or I'm buying another mouse? Now if you can answer those 4 honestly, you're probably not wasting money. You might still buy like something stupid, but at least you'll know why. And if you watch this far and recognize yourself in any of these 4, good. And now I want to hear from you. Drop the mouse you're currently using right now in the comments and be honest. Are you actually happy with it or are you just defending the money you actually spent? I want to see how many of you are still like on super lights, how many of you are using Chinese mice, and how many of you are actually lying to yourselves with a mouse you already hate. And if you want to see more about gaming mice or just like peripheral in general, check out the next video.